It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. I think today's a day where we'd all like to collectively dial down the drama because the saber rattling that's going on is getting fairly outrageous. I'm sure by this time of day, you have heard and seen the Alex Padilla video about 100 times. In case you haven't, let me give you a refresher. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, was in Los Angeles holding a press conference at a federal building. Alex Padilla, who is a senator from the state of California, walked into that press conference, and while she was talking, decided he had some questions of his own and was walking towards the podium, which the federal agents who were tasked with protecting Kristi Noem didn't take too kindly to, and he was removed and he had handcuffs placed on him, but he wasn't detained, he wasn't held, he wasn't arrested. They had a 15-minute conversation afterwards, and now everyone's going crazy. Here's what happened.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
Hands off. If you want to react to the nonsense that's been going on today, whether it's that you think it wasn't right that Padilla was handcuffed, whether you think it wasn't right that Padilla seemed to charge the stage, whether you think there's just way too much drama on all sides of this issue, and we all have to calm down and actually talk to each other, what do you make of what happened with Senator Alex Padilla today? 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. Who do you think was being the bigger drama queen here? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. What do you make of what happened with Alex Padilla forcibly charging into a press conference and getting forcibly charged out of that press conference? 800-222-KABC. Kristi Noem at the presser was asked about the Padilla incident just minutes after it happened.
Please address Senator Padilla's interruption to a press conference, and consider even pressing charges for what we just witnessed here.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know the senator. He did not request a meeting with me or to speak with me. So when I leave here, I'll have a conversation with him and visit and find out really what his concerns were. I think everybody in America would agree that that wasn't appropriate. That if you wanted to have a civil discussion, especially as a leader, a public official,
he could have, subpoenaed her in Congress and had a hearing. He has the power to do that. He can get on the phone and call her directly. It's a little weird to be charging into a press conference unless you want to make a scene because you want to be a martyr. And based on all of the posts that have been going around on social media, it looks like that was the plan. I don't know what the plan exactly was, but the fierce reaction from people like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass and every other elected in the state of California has been so outraged by this. When can you admit at least what he was doing was a little nutty? And to all the people that say, well, she should have recognized him, he's Alex Padilla. Let me just tell you, I guarantee you, if you ask 10 random people in the state of California who Alex Padilla is, they would have no idea. If you ask them who our two senators are, I guarantee you half of them would still think Dianne Feinstein's in the Senate. Alex Padilla is very forgettable.
that you would reach out and try to have a conversation. For instance, I have left voicemails for Governor Newsom wanting to have a conversation. Has he returned them? No, he hasn't. I know that the White House has reached out and had conversations with Mayor Bass as well. And so that's what you do to try to start these conversations and ask for partnerships. Unfortunately, we haven't met.
Of course, Karen Bass held her own press conference this afternoon denouncing the outrage of what happened today and how awful it was.
They've been threatening elected officials with arrests and they just shoved and cuffed a sitting U.S. senator.
Wow. She's banging the podium. You know she means business. By the way, she's on stage with all the nonprofits that are getting a whole lot of city funding to stir up this nonsense, like Churla.
Wow. How could you say that you did not know who he was? We see the videotape. We see him saying who he was.
Anybody could say, I'm Alex Padilla. Doesn't mean anything. But what was he charging the stage for?
But how do you not recognize one of two senators in our state?
I guarantee if you had to pick Alex Padilla out of a lineup, you would not be able to. He is very, very forgettable. You know, he's been senator for over 5 years. Has he done anything of note? No.
And he is not just any senator. He is the first Latino senator to ever represent our state.
Of course, because that's all that matters in the state of California and Los Angeles. Look, you saw the video. You saw what happened. You've heard the whining from both sides. You've heard the outrage and the saber rattling. Who's being the bigger baby here? Who's being the bigger drama queen? Are you ready for everyone to dial down the drama in this situation? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. Your honest reaction to what you saw today with Alex Padilla charging into a press conference that he wasn't supposed to be at and then getting forcibly removed and handcuffed. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Dale in Long Beach. Dale, hello.
Hello, Randy. He tried to hijack the press conference when Kristi Noem was speaking. How rude. He was hollering. I seen the video from a bunch of different angles. I mean, he didn't wear his pin that says he's a state senator. I mean, he couldn't have planned this any better. This is theatrics at its utmost best.
Well, and they got the images that they wanted, and they had everyone, including Kamala Harris, posting the video, which was captured by Bill Malhusian, by the way, of how unbelievably outrageous this is. But to your point, it's not like this happened in the middle of the Q&A portion of the press conference. She was giving her presentation, and he started interrupting her and then walking towards the podium. And I don't know if the FBI agents tasked with protecting Kristi Noem knew who Alex Padilla was. I guarantee most people have no idea who he is.
Well, even if they knew he was Alex Padilla, you can't come in there and just hollering and hijack the press conference. They acting like that. It was ridiculous.
Do you think this was on purpose?
He did everything to lay on his back and throw his arms and legs in the air and start crying.
It's just the drama is getting insane, and I'm just getting sick of all of it. Like, let's all calm down and have a civilized conversation about what these disagreements are, which apparently Padilla and Noem had afterwards, yet we're still going after each other in the press.
I got the TV off and I'm drinking a cold beer, Andy. I'm retired.
Oh. Soon as I get done with this, that sounds like something I'd like to do, although it'll be straight up tequila for me. Thanks so much for the call, Dale. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. Senator Alex Padilla charged into a press conference held by Kristi Noem in Los Angeles today, and this is what happened.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
He was dragged out. He was handcuffed. He was not detained or placed under arrest. He was free to go, and then they had a 15-minute conversation afterwards. But do you think Padilla was in the wrong for showing up there? Do you think the feds were in the wrong for handcuffing him and kicking him out of there? Are you ready for everyone to dial down the drama? What do you make of the Alex Padilla martyr incident today? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Eric in Pasadena. Eric, hello.
Randy, hi. Thanks for this forum. To me, I think both of these people are at fault. I feel that the senator, who's been our senator for 5 years, and I didn't even know that, was being performative, and I don't think you can out-Trump Donald Trump. It feels like the day that Nancy Pelosi ripped up the State of the Union speech after Donald Trump gave his speech. It's just silly and against what we need to do in our country, which is sit down and talk to one another.
I think you're so right. There's so much performative saber rattling. There's so much outrage. There's so much calling people out and inspiring a whole bunch of violence. But let's just sit down and talk and stop with all the drama. And the rhetoric that's being talked about, these raids is really special because it's completely legal what's going on here. You might not like it, but then you go to Congress and change the law, which Karen Bass could have stayed in Congress to do that, but she decided to be mayor of Los Angeles and start getting all crazy about this stuff.
Thank you. That is exactly what I say to my friends. If you want the law changed, change it. It's When the Democrats had control of both the House and the Senate and they had the presidency, they didn't change the law. The Republicans haven't changed the law. It seems like it's a pillory. It's a way for both sides to hit one another. I don't think, you can say all immigrants are bad. I think most people's family are somehow connected to immigrants, but now everyone's an immigrant, and it's all terrible, and what you're doing is terrible and horrible. It's deeply frustrating as a voter, as a father, as a business owner. It's silly, and we need to change it.
I totally agree. I think cooler heads need to prevail, but where those cooler heads are, I want to know. Thanks so much for the call, Eric. Appreciate it. If we could just sit down and have a rational discussion about, LA sanctuary policies that prevent ICE from going into the jails, well, maybe we could try to logic this way out how that doesn't make a whole lot of sense and it's deeply unpopular. If I have time later today, I'll play you the sound of Gavin Newsom being asked about LA sanctuary policies and California's sanctuary policies on a New York Times podcast. But your reaction to the Alex Padilla incident today in Los Angeles.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
What do you make of this? Who's in the wrong here? Are they both in the wrong? Is there too much drama going on with this whole situation? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Angela in Ventura. Angela, hello.
Hi, Randy. How are you today?
Doing great.
Awesome. I think that you're doing a public service because I was at work all day, and the first time I heard about this was when I was driving home. So thank you so much for sharing that. But I think it's brilliant. I'm tired of politicians thinking that everybody else is a second-class citizen. You obey the laws or you get put in handcuffs. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. And, even though he is a senator, that doesn't make it so he can just start talking over somebody at their own press conference. If he's got legitimate concerns, he has a million legitimate ways to raise them, including, giving this woman a call anytime that she's not in the middle of a press conference.
Yeah, you don't get to overtake things just because you think you're more important than everybody. If you stood Alex Padilla in front of me, I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I live in California.
I've been seeing video of him all day, and if you put him in front of me, I couldn't tell you who he is. Thanks so much for the call, Angela. Appreciate it. He's just not, this guy has been in California politics for a very long time. He's the Secretary of State. He was the city councilman in Los Angeles in the Valley for a very long time. And we have a different Padilla in that office. This guy's been around forever, but that doesn't mean anybody actually knows who he is. And for Karen Bass to be like, you should know who he is because he's the first Latino senator from California that's just some California nonsense right there. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Your reaction to the Alex Padilla incident today in Los Angeles. Let's go to let's go to Larry in Cerritos. Larry, hello.
Hi, Randy. My comment is that the FBI handled it just right. After 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump, they can't be too careful. And as the lady just before me said, I only know him because I call his office and see his face on his website. But FBI agents there, they have 500 and some congressmen and senators. I don't think they know everyone by face. So I agree the FBI handled it just right.
I think you make a strong point. Thanks so much for the call, Larry. Appreciate it. And again, they didn't hold him under arrest. They weren't being as forceful as they could be. But he was causing a ruckus and for some reason was walking towards the podium. And just because you say I'm a senator doesn't mean anyone knows that. I can walk in there and say I'm a senator. Let's go to Lou in Glendale. Lou, hello.
Hey there. So I just want to say that the Secret Service don't care who you are. They don't care if they're protecting the president or Dan Bongino. They're going to throw them down if they come towards that person because that's their job. So he's in the wrong. I mean, he's just crazy. And like you said, they're just all being drama queens. So, I mean, Karen, as we like to refer to her as Bass, I was working with a guy who kept saying that all day. She's the biggest drama queen out there. They could have stopped this on day 2, but yet they decided not to. So that's all I have to say.
No, and they keep amping up the drama. Thank you so much for the call. They keep amping up the drama every single day. Karen Bass saying this unrest will not end until ICE leaves. Well, you're not going to be able to convince the federal government not to do their job. You might disagree with what they're doing, but they are following the law. If you don't like the law, you had plenty of opportunities to change the law with several years in Congress. You've had 2 different administrations in the Democrats where they had everything, and they didn't do anything on this issue. And if you didn't have the votes, that means you couldn't come to a compromise. This issue has been kicked around for a very long time. It has led to the chaos that's out here. Not everyone agrees on exactly what should be done about it, but if you don't like the law, you don't just get to go after the law enforcement and demonize these people. And to have the press conference with this organization, Churla, the immigrants activist organizations that are now posting the hotels where these agents are staying and having their people call the hotels to try to get these people kicked out of their lodging. What is that? I mean, you might disagree with their mission, but these are people. These are people that are working for this country. What are you doing here? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. Alex Padilla crashed a press conference that he wasn't supposed to be at, started going towards the stage and hooting and hollering. He got kicked out forcefully.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
Who do you think was in the wrong here? Padilla for crashing the presser, the feds for taking him out of there and handcuffing him? Does everyone need to just calm down with the drama right now? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. We'll take more of your calls next on the Alex Padilla situation. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. If you'd like to email us, you could do so at randykabc@gmail.com. Julian Anaheim writes in, Alex Padilla and all these disrespectful, holier-than-thou Democrats ought to try complying with the rules of the law and respecting every person who isn't a Democrat. Maybe then they get the respect they demand. They're the ones who warn, do you know who you're dealing with? Do you know who I am? They've been so indulged, protected, and empowered for so long, they have grown to act like they're entitled to special treatment and above the law. Their favorite scold against Republicans. Apropos of nothing, the first time I saw him, I thought he looks just like Josh Mankiewicz. He is a dead ringer for Josh Mankiewicz on Dateline. Maybe that's it. Maybe they thought Dateline was here, and why is he charging the stage? 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. By now, you've heard and seen the video. Alex Padilla charging into Kristi Noem's press conference in Los Angeles, asking questions while she's speaking, and then he got forcibly dragged out and handcuffed.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
I want to hear what you think about this. I want to hear who you think is being the bigger drama queen in all this. If you'd like everyone to just calm down and have a conversation about policy, because that's what we're supposed to have these people doing. Give me a call, 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your take on the Alex Padilla stunt today. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We're doing nothing but your calls. Next, it's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. Before we get to the calls on the Alex Padilla situation, I should mention there are now reports that Israel has started bombing Iran, so it's going to be a wild week, everybody. Let's go to John in Temecula. John, hello.
Yeah,
John.
How you doing? First off, I want to start. I've lived in this country for a long time, and I've never seen it more divided than I see it now, and I don't like it. I just don't like it. It's so divided now. But anyway, as far as what's going on with that, as my dad used to say, two wrongs don't make a right. I wish people would have listened to my dad. Two wrongs do not make a right. They were both wrong, but I don't blame Christy. No, she had nothing to do with it. I think Alex Padilla rudely went in there, and he should have been a little bit more political about it. But I also feel I get eerie feelings when I see a politician get jammed to the floor. I don't like that either. I think that's wrong. I think he was wrong. Two wrongs do not make a right. And then, you know what? You could say whatever you got to say, but that's a thing, and people don't apologize. Nobody ever says, "Oh, it's not my fault; it's their fault." It's not my fault. It's their fault.
What's interesting, John, is afterwards the two sat down and apparently had a cordial conversation for 15 minutes and exchanged phone numbers, but that hasn't stopped the rhetoric on both sides for going after this thing.
Yeah, well, what matters is what it gets out in the press. What comes out in the press, what they do behind closed doors, nobody knows. But it needs to be say, hey, somebody needs to stand up to the plate and say, hey, if there was a mistake, it was something that, just happened that shouldn't have happened, and let it go. That's the end of it. But I think
you make a good point, John. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. The fact that they had that conversation and Padilla didn't even mention that when he had his press conference afterwards it's just a little rude. Like, we should all feel responsible to do our part to turn down the temperature in the room as everything seems to be getting so out of hand in so many different ways. But nope, some people like to make a spectacle, like to make a scene because maybe it'll be good for their career. I don't know. I still think nobody knows who Alex Padilla is. Let's go to Dave in Rancho Santa Margarita. Dave, hello.
Hey, Randy. I've called a few times, and typically the words roll out of my mouth real easily. This time, I'm almost shocked at what I've seen in the videos. So I'm going to put a question back to you. What is the end game that the Democrats are hoping to get by doing these types of stunts? Because as you said, once the performance was over, Padilla and Kristi Noem sat down and had a civil conversation, but the stunt was already done. So what's the goal of these stunts? Is it, we're going to get our way, which we know is not going to happen because President Trump is going to continue on with this form of immigration policy. I'm thinking the end result is they want to rile up the conservative base to a point where we finally react. And it's not going to be a pretty reaction.
It's wild what's going on because Karen Bass was asked today, how does this end? How does this calm down? And she says, ICE has to leave Los Angeles. And you're not going to be able to direct a federal agency to stop doing their job just because you don't like what they're doing. And because we want to, start demonizing these people and we want to, start doxing them, reporting where they're staying in hotels to harass them there, And we're the ones that are funding the organizations that are doing that. It's just escalating. And every time she has an opportunity to de-escalate this, she's escalating this. Anytime that you could try to find some middle ground, like, oh, maybe we should be letting ICE into the jails, and then maybe we can have more coordination on these other raids. No, we don't want to do that. It's absolutism. It's all or nothing. It's ideology, and it's not helping anybody.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, it's kind of the stunt is meant to provoke a response because, as you said, Karen Bass, we want our way. We want you to go away and leave the illegals alone. Well, that's not going to happen, so we're going to take the other route. We're going to escalate the stunts to be able to provoke a response from the conservative base. All I can say to all the listeners out there is do not respond to this idiocy because that's what they want. Stay cool, stay calm, let them be the fools. They're showing their true colors, and that's going to sink them come 2028.
Honestly, the best reaction to this is, I didn't even know who Alex Padilla was.
I agree.
Thanks so much for the call, Dave. Appreciate it. That's the one that irritates me the most is Karen Bass being so indignant that, of course, Kristi Noem should have known who Alex Padilla is.
And he is not just any senator. He is the first Latino senator to ever represent our state.
Let me put that on my scorecard. Let's go to Rose in Marina Del Rey. Rose, hello.
Hey, Randy, love your show. You know, here's the thing for me. He's a clown. If he really wanted to ask her questions, he could have called up her office and they could have arranged for a meeting. He did that to make a big show, and he embarrassed himself. I didn't even know he was still coming down for breakfast, to be quite honest with you. And I'm a Californian. So here's the thing with this. Remember when we wanted something done about illegal immigration, and everyone in their city said, oh, that's the federal jurisdiction's job. And now that the federal jurisdiction is trying to do something about it, they don't want them to do anything about it. So in my opinion, here in LA, in particular here, people are happy to go right about their business with illegal immigration. They'll follow every other law, you know, everything to do with getting their registration, their house, their insurance, everything. But when it comes to illegal immigration, they're fine with that law being broken. And why is that? I don't understand that. It's a federal crime to come into a country illegally. But nobody seems to care that that law is broken, yet they follow every other law that they're told to follow. Don't you find that quite interesting with people?
When you're picking and choosing which of the laws we're going to enforce, it really makes the entire situation tough. And then when you escalate that even further with sanctuary policies that are straight up designed to protect the people that are in the jails, what are we doing here?
It has, listen, let me tell you, I've got a lot of friends that are so left on this issue. They follow every single law that the state puts in front of them. They're out of their house for 4 months because of fires. They follow every single rule. But when it comes to this, they have no problem with illegal immigration. I don't understand it. I'm going to put it to them, like the last caller said. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get mad and make a fool of myself like Padilla did. He's such a clown. I'm going to just say to them, why do you not have a problem with people breaking our immigration law? Because that's what's going on in LA. LA is filled with people who were born here from illegal parents coming here. And that's the reason they have such a solidified, community with regards to this. Because it's illegal based on illegal based on illegal. And now the whole city, their own mayor doesn't want the federal government doing their job, cracking down on illegal immigration. Well, then who's supposed to do it? They don't do it. They're happy with it.
I think you make a really strong point, Rose. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. And of course, cooler heads can't prevail. We can't come to some kind of compromise on this. There hasn't been a compromise on this issue in 39 years. I think Simpson-Mazzoli was 1986, but we become complete ideologues on this issue. We lose the common sense and we lose the common voter. And that's why Democrats have been consistently losing on this issue, not only because their positions are untenable, but they've also failed to deliver when they had power to even do what they say they want to do, which is reform the legal immigration system. Let's go to Lisa in LA. Lisa, hello.
Hey, Randy. Everyone has really nailed it. The first thing I thought of is our lovely Governor Slumlord, as I call him. He came out and said, oh, look, they just took him down. He just, always forgets the context. And I'm with you. I actually I wouldn't recognize him on the street. I live here. I grew up here. I don't even know who he is. So, but the way he approached made a scene, of course, and of course, Newsom, anyone else the security would have taken them down. I stand by all of that, and it was very much a stunt. And there afterwards, of course, he did have a chance to meet with her. She would have been more than happy to oblige. It's unbelievable. And I'm just so annoyed as someone who voted for Trump and voted for everything that the Democrats, we want this all out. And anyway, I don't know how. I feel like maybe enough of us, I feel like they underestimate even Democrats who are sick of all of this conduct. They're the ones getting their Prius is getting stolen too, right? When the vegans come out in Santa Monica, they're no more happy, right? A lot of them voted for Trump too, but they're not going to come out and say it. So that's sort of my take on it.
I think you provide some great context. Thanks so much for the call, Lisa. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number, 1-800-222-5222. If you're on hold, stay on hold. Back to your calls, your reaction to the Alex Padilla incident next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Don in L.A. Don, hello.
Oh, Randy, how you doing? The Wang man with the Wang clan. Great to talk to you. God, what a great topic. Padilla, it's so funny. You could put a little clip in there of like Greta Thunberg going, how dare you, when they take him down. Or then, they could have a clip of Fred Sanford going, you big dummy, you big dummy. This guy is just amazing, and as you say, still nobody knows him. If he knocked on my doorbell right now, Randy, I wouldn't know who the heck he was. I'd call security, so it's just all these stunts and all this showmanship is just pathetic. And then when Mayor Bass has that audience of trained seals, you could actually have a clip of trained seals going instead of applauding. You would. This is a target-rich environment, Randy. I'll get off so other people can get on, but God, I love it. The gift that keeps on giving.
It is funny in a certain context. Oh, I love it too. Thanks so much for the call, Don. Appreciate it. At least we can laugh at all the nonsense, right? More of your calls coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go to Kelly in North Hills. Kelly, hello.
Hi there, Randy. Love everything that's been said so far. Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, I just, obviously, like, the soundbite of, like, a senator being handcuffed is, like, not good, but then you see the whole clip and, it's such for show. I mean, whether he knew he was going to get handcuffed or not, he went in there, he knew the cameras were on. It was all about making a scene and to have another soundbite, that hopefully people will just see that and get more angry at the other side. And it just really demeans the office of a senator. It's just so sad to me, Karen Bass, Newsom, I feel like they don't care about the people that they represent. They don't care to keep us safe. It's all for their political gain. And it's a really sad state of affairs.
There are some politicians that go to want to make the country better, make the city better, make the state better, and there are some that are just in it for their own personal game and their own fame, and we got to stop electing those people for sure. And Alex Padilla showed us who he was today. Thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go to Mark in San Diego. Mark, hello.
Hey, Randy. Great show. Alex Padilla was anointed by the King of California and never really had any type of opposition or political run for a campaign. So if you want to talk about the king, that is the King of California, and Alex Padilla was anointed to replace our senator who lost the election. This is ridiculous. He stormed in, made a fool of himself. Really made a fool of himself. I'm so embarrassed to still be a resident, but I'm not giving up on California. I love my state. I love my city, and this is really crazy what's going on.
I love what you said there. And yeah, we can't give up on California because we can fix it. We can totally fix it. Man made these problems and man can undo them. Thanks so much for the call. Let's go to James in Azusa. James, you got 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, Randy, it's one big temper tantrum. We put up with 8 years of abomination, 4 years of Sleepy Joe, and we shut up and we put up. And now it's our turn, and they just can't take it. That's all it is. And the caller was right. A few calls back, they're provoking it. They want to slip up. Thanks, Randy.
That's what they want. They're trying to escalate this every chance they can. We'll continue to follow this. It'd be nice to talk about something lighter, but I don't see that happening this week. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.